YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back, and we're heading into Wild Card Weekend, the first round of the playoffs, Super Wild Card Weekend. That's what we're going with these days. And we got full playoff coverage, full NFL coverage, but you guys have been asking for my full playoff predictions, full bracket predictions, and here they are. We got them, like we always do every year. And we can do these each step of the way too. I'm going to predict it all the way to the Super Bowl, give you my Super Bowl prediction, but once we got the teams next round and the next round, keep doing it. And you guys are actually creating, through our Twitter, creating a fan-voted bracket as well. So check that out. We'll talk about more about that in a second. So follow that Twitter, subscribe, full NFL coverage. We have a recent mock draft that went up a bunch of picks for the playoff games, more in-depth predictions, talking about the matchups, a lot. We got a lot going on. Check out that Sided app. You see underneath me, there's a link down below, description, comments. We have polls on there. Who's the best AFC team? Who's the best NFC team? You guys go vote, and you can actually win Amazon gift cards. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe, though. So here's the playoff bracket, 2020, 2021, whatever we want to call it, because it is the 2020 season, but it is 2021 right now. Either way, we're on the same page here. So here's the bracket. And you guys are, like I said, you guys are going to make your own bracket. So you can yell at me on this video. You can get pissed at me in the comments. But there's going to be a video for you guys here. Let's pull up what I'm talking about. So the Twitter, go to our Twitter, @GoatHouseNFL. You guys are voting. It's going on right now. 5 hours left for these. You guys voted for the first round already. Here's the Ravens Chiefs one. But if you go to our Twitter, you scroll down, you'll see these. I'm going to put a link in the description comments. You guys vote, and then once there's a winner, we'll go on to the next round, and you guys vote. And then we'll go all the way to the Super Bowl. You guys vote, and then we're going to come back in a separate video, and you guys are going to fill out the bracket, and you can get pissed at each other in the comments. A little different than this one. But here we go. My predictions. Let's not waste any time with my round one winners because we got a whole bunch of videos out already covering this. So most of you, I know some of you are probably new. Appreciate you for joining us. But most of you probably already know. Really quick one rundown if you want more in-depth talk. Look at the recent videos. I had the Steelers over the Browns. The Browns got hit with the Rona pretty bad. I had the Steelers anyways, and they match up pretty well. They're going to spread the field out with their wide variety of receivers, which could be a problem for the Browns secondary, and they also could slow down the Browns with their solid defense. I took the Bills over the Colts. The Colts can be sneaky, though. It's a pretty good 7 seed. So hard to go against the Bills right now. They're on fire. I think Josh Allen keeps rolling in that game. They just they make a situation where can the Colts keep up? Can they continue to run the ball because they're playing keep up? So I went with the Bills. Ravens Titans. I keep calling it it's the main event of Super Wild Card Weekend. This is the super game right here. This is a heavyweight battle, offensive battle in my opinion. They're both similar because how high powered they are in terms of the run game. Could go either way. 50-50 game. I'm going with the Titans. I think I went over it a bunch in the past videos. I'm feeling the Titans here. I think the difference in receivers, I think the ability to push the ball downfield a little more, and the Ravens' tackling problems could be a problem in this game. But the Titans' defense has been struggling. I went with the Titans. I do really like the Ravens, and they're heating up. I kind of called them starting to heat up around this time. So I do like them a lot. Seahawks Rams. If Goff plays, they can, they can play upset. Not too much of an upset. The Seahawks have had problems with McVay in the past, but Goff, if he plays, they are a little better than with Walford. Sounds like Walford will play. Either way, I'm starting to think Russell Wilson, the Seahawks offense starts to get back on track. They start to play a little better, but the Rams defense, I think it's the best in the playoffs, so watch out for that. Seeing defenses alone win wild card matchups over and over again over the last few, even in the offensive era. So, watch out for the Rams and their defense. But I got the Seahawks. I think they do just enough on offense. We'll see if Jamal Adams plays. There's another factor there. I get the Saints over the Bears. It's a must-win for the Saints. They can't get upset by the Bears. I don't think they will. And they match up pretty solid with them on both sides of the ball, mainly their defense going against that Bears offense. I think they'll have success. I got the Buccaneers over Washington. It's somewhat of a test. Washington's kind of known as one of the worst teams, maybe the worst team in the playoff, but it's somewhat of a test for matchup reasons. The Buccaneers have struggled with really good defenses in the past, and Washington has a good defense. And when Tom Brady's off, is the whole team off? That's some questions. I still like the Bucs here. I think they've gotten better over the last few weeks, as kind of expected going into the year. That it'll take a little time. Maybe it took a little more time, but they're still a very good team. So I like the Bucs. We're going to move on to the next round. Let's start with Bills Steelers. This is probably the two AFC ones I'm pretty confident with. I'm going to take the Bills. They played each other a few weeks ago. Maybe a little more than a few weeks ago, but the Bills looked pretty damn good. They started a little slow. Even the Steelers, being that good of a defense, The defense even didn't look that good. That's how good the Bills' offense is. A totally different game, so different things can happen. But the Bills' offense line is really playing good lately. Darrell Williams locked down T.J. Watt in that game, so maybe that's the difference. Chances are T.J. Watt's not going to disappear in 2 games in a row against the Bills, so maybe he can create the difference. I just think the Bills are going to find ways to score. They're getting better and better, and they switched something up at one point in the year here where teams just can't – they were starting to figure them out. Now teams just can't figure out a game plan for them, how to match up against them. So that's kind of a problem there. I think, the Bills just got too much offense. And their defense is getting better. They're starting to create turnovers. They're doing a good job. They're getting better every step of the way. So I just don't think the Steelers can keep up with the Bills. So I got the Bills. Titans and the Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs as a rematch of the AFC Championship. Give me the Chiefs. This will be an absolute shootout, so it'll be pretty fun. But the question is, can the Titans keep up? I think they can keep up. With their high-powered offense, they got a good mixture. They got a good balance. They got a good run game, good pass game. Tannehill's been playing very well. Those receivers have been playing pretty well. I think the slight difference here, look at the difference in quarterback play. Even though I think Tannehill is very solid, I think he's actually quite underrated. Mahomes, different animal. And then defense. Chiefs' defense is better than than the credit they get, I suppose. And the Titans' defense needs to pick it up. This might be the worst defense in the playoffs. So the Titans can keep up. The question is, will their run game get taken away because the Chiefs are constantly scoring where the Titans can't risk running more clock. They have to throw, and they can throw, but it's not as easy. Obviously it's way harder when the run game's kind of taken away. So that's kind of the question. What has to happen in this game? Titans somehow need to get up. They need to get up first. That's for sure. That needs to happen. They might need to get up 2 scores right off the bat. They cannot dig themselves holes. And they could avoid all those things. And they can do it. And they can keep Derrick Henry, the run game going. Very possible. It's got a little more confidence in the Chiefs there, but that'd be a shootout. Seahawks and the NFC one. Both the NFC ones are so tough. These are ones that once we get to this week, which is next week, I could change my pick on him. We do our weekly picks. I do score predictions. We have these videos. So because I guess it depends on how teams look, because we haven't seen these teams start fresh here in the playoffs. So that plays a part. Seahawks and Saints, though. So it's such a good game. I think they're pretty even, type of teams. They're both pretty balanced right now. What's their strong suit, offense or defense? Seahawks lately has been defense, but I still think it's going to be the offense. The Saints, I don't know which one's going to be stronger. I think it depends on the matchup here. And I will say this, I think which team has a better shot to maybe making the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl? I'd say the Saints. I think they match up better against more of the field. Not that the Seahawks don't. I think the Saints just have a better chance to beat more teams to kind of go on that run. They actually might, just based on their team, how they match up against other teams. But I'm taking the Seahawks in this head-to-head matchup. And the reason being, I think they're very similar teams. I think the difference is Russell Wilson versus Drew Brees. I think whatever offense makes that extra explosive play, that extra play, I think wins the game there. And I think that I trust Russell Wilson more with that. They both got, pretty damn good running games, and the Saints will be more effective passing the ball, in the flat, out of the backfield. Seahawks can pound the football, wear the defense out. I think Russell Wilson can have success on these. These corners have really picked it up of the Saints. The secondary in general really picked it up down the stretch of the season. But I think Russell Wilson could have success with his star receivers downfield in this game. Make that extra play. But this would be an insanely tight game. And defense, I like the Saints defense a little more. But I do think they have a harder task, looking at the opposing offenses. So I think that they're so similar that I think that extra play from the quarterback, the most important position in football, could be the difference there. But also it could be the difference. The Seahawks do struggle to get pressure sometimes against the Saints offensive line. They've picked it up, though, the Seahawks, in terms of their pressure rates. In the Saints, I actually think they could get pressure, but actually getting Russell Wilson down is, I guess, a different question. But that could be the difference. At the same time, I keep going back and forth here. You're not really going to get to Drew Brees the old-fashioned way. I think you got to be unique, and the Seahawks are pretty unique with Jamal Adams. He might not be healthy for the wild card week. We'll see. But I think with his pass rush ability from the blitz, you don't know what he's doing with different disguises. That could be a factor in this game. I think it's mainly the quarterback battle. 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, 2 great quarterbacks. Brees has looked good since he's came back. I think Russell Wilson just does that extra makes that extra play, and it might be one play. It literally what it could be. So we'll see. We'll see how they look in the first round. They're both playing good defense. That'll tell us a lot, actually. So that could change my mind. This is what I can change my mind at one point. This is the hardest one. Buccaneers versus Packers. The Packers, the hottest team in the NFC, the best team in the NFC right now. The Buccaneers are pretty damn hot. Now this is the Buccaneers we expected to see, at least I expect to see at some point. They're high-powered offense, and they got really good defense. A very balanced team. I think more balanced than the Packers, even though the Packers look pretty balanced. What I love about the Buccaneers, part of my favorite thing is they get pressure in different ways. They get it from the interior, guys like Ndamukong Suh, like that, and from the edge, Shaq Barrett, Jason Pierre-Paul. Sometimes they'll pull Shaq Barrett almost like a blitz, but they'll pull him around from the inside. Sometimes they'll line up there. And their inside linebackers, mainly Devin White, Levante David, will blitz the crap out of you. Last time they played, the Buccaneers, this was their most impressive game of the year. They dominated the Packers. They dominated him. They took the ball away from Rodgers, mainly because the blitz was a factor they got in his face. Not too many teams are able to do that. It's the good thing about the Packers, but when teams do it, it is a major factor. So the Bucs have something there that they know how to do, and they really threw off the Packers. It was kind of ugly. And offensively, the Buccaneers were actually able to push the ball down the field. Here's another thing: the Packers. I'm not in love with their run defense. It's gotten better, but I'm not in love with it. Ronald Jones has really gotten better. He's missed a couple games at the end, but he looks like a much better running back. So if the pass game's not working, I think the run game can. So those are sides for the Buccaneers. The Packers, I do think, are better since then. I do think the Buccaneers are better since then too. But the Packers seem way more consistent since then. Their defense is playing better ball. They're taking away big plays. They're from the offense. They're making big plays. They're getting more pressure here with their two pass rushers, and Kenny Clark's kind of getting back in the mold because he missed a good chunk early in the season. So they're doing a little better job on defense as well. Aaron Rodgers is playing better ball. The matchup says Buccaneers for sure. The matchup actually says Buccaneers. I'm usually a matchup guy, but I'm gonna go with the Packers still. It's just kind of a feeling here, mainly because it's not just a feeling. It's more than that. There's logic behind it. I think compared to last time, the Buccaneers are gonna go in there, and they're gonna do what they have to do. They're gonna have the same game plan. They're gonna play the same way because that's what dominated the Packers last time. And since then, that was weeks and weeks ago. Not only have the Packers, I feel like, gotten better on both sides of the ball, but they've had time to fix that because they didn't really, bypass, fixing what they needed to fix to stop the blitz, improve against the blitz. They knew that would come up again. It's something we had to fix to improve on to be a better team. And if we see the Bucs again, and now they have this whole week off, they don't get to play in Wild Card Weekend to prepare again while the Bucs possibly prepare for Washington. I've heard of teams sometimes preparing for the next team. Actually, I think that's actually a thing. They can just go out and just let's play our normal game. Let's do our job. We're gonna win. Let's focus on Green Bay. Not saying that's what's happening, but I've actually heard coaches say that before. So we'll see. But something tells me, sometimes that's the hard part about playing a team like a second time. Because the Buccaneers will do the same exact thing because they pretty much have to, while the Packers will adjust to that, and the Buccaneers will have to make adjustments on the fly. If you remember that game too, I know it was a butt whooping really, but the Packers started off pretty strong. It looked like the Packers, the way they started, were going to beat them pretty good. Then Rodgers threw a pick six, and that changed everything. So maybe that was just the difference as well. So I'm feeling the Packers right now. I could change my mind. Because my original, I normally don't go away from my original predictions, even from the off season. And people, maybe that could be a flaw because I'm a little stubborn to go away from my original predictions. But there's reason behind it. My original predictions in the past have ended up being more correct than my changes. I don't like to change too much. My original judgment seems to be pretty accurate in the past, so I kind of trust myself in that category. And I had the Bucs going to the Super Bowl, so this is pretty big for me to do this. And I do feel like the winner of that game, that feels like an NFC Championship game. I feel like the winner of that game could go to the Super Bowl. I know the Buccaneers don't match up well against the Saints. Hard to beat a team 3 times, but the matchup says Saints, so if they play them, who knows what will happen, who knows what I'll pick. But so with that being said, I kind of gave that away. I got the Packers going to the Super Bowl. I don't think the Seahawks match up too well with them. I think it's going to be an old-fashioned shootout, and I trust the Packers offense more. The Seahawks are going to be playing keep up. I think the Packers are a team offense that will make the Seahawks defense kind of look a little closer. They were the worst defense in football for a little bit there. They're not going to go anywhere near to that point. But the Packers, if there is somebody that's going to make them look closer to that point than where they are now, I think it's the Packers offense. And the Seahawks will be able to, can they play keep up? The offense, again, I think it's going to be better than what it has been recently. They've been barely scoring points recently. I think it's going to be better. But in a game like this, it's got to be flawless, and it could play pretty close to that. I just trust the Packers a bit more there. The game plan for the Seahawks actually could be to wear them down, use Chris Carson. That could be a good strategy to start off early, kind of like their old game plan. The Seahawks, last several years, they go out pound the football. They barely use Russell Wilson in the first half, and they stay within the game, wear that team out, control the clock, and then they break loose Russell Wilson second half. That could be kind of going back to that game plan. And that could be their strategy because everyone's kind of caught on to the same game plan over and over every year, and they've kind of gone away from that this year. Maybe they're going to bring it back at one point, to throw teams off. That actually could be a pretty good strategy. But I like the Packers. I don't think the Seahawks match up with them. I'm surprised with myself. I had the Seahawks going to the NFC Championship game because I think the way they match up with the Saints is pretty good. Because I don't know what the identity of the Seahawks is. All the offense and defense can be on the same page at the same time. That could be their flaw there. That could hurt them. Chiefs and Bills, oh, man, it could go either way here. Again, this is really the deciding factor. I don't like to go away from my original pick too often here. That's kind of hurt me in the past when I have. So I got to go with the Chiefs. I got to stick with the Chiefs here. The Bills can do it, though. This would be another shootout. The Bills actually might have a slightly better defense, but I do like the Chiefs defense. It's better than people think. Frank Clark's got to pick it up. They got to start getting more edge presence, pressure from the edge. Love the way Josh Allen's playing. He's playing better than Mahomes down the stretch of the year, but I trust Mahomes a little more in this game. Josh Allen's still young. He's still, can't. All it takes is kind of one play. Not even one game, one play. When we're talking about playing the best of the best, can he have one of those moments? I love the way the kid's playing, though. Stephon Diggs has been ridiculous. The Bills could win this game. It could be a good game. The difference could be which defense makes that extra play, and it could go either way. But the Bills' defense has really gotten better. It was almost kind of bad early in the year, which was surprising because I predicted them to be a top defense in the NFL, and then it got better every step of the way, and now it looks like it's one of the best in the playoffs. Is it going to continue to improve? Is it going to end up being the best one in the playoffs? And that could be the difference in this game. I'm going to stick with the Chiefs, though. Really, the difference is, the Bills spread the field out quite a bit, but the Chiefs, the way they spread out the field is just, it's coming. You can't stop it. It's ridiculous. And the Bills and Chiefs are pretty even. The way they spread the field vertically, I think the way the Chiefs spread the field horizontally, across sideline to sideline is the biggest problem for teams. Both teams kind of lacking in the run game department. Maybe one of these young guys for the Bills steps up. Zach Moss has been running harder and harder. He looks pretty good, actually, so that could be the difference as well. I'm going Chiefs and Packers. Super Bowl, my original prediction was Chiefs and Bucks, so we'll see which one happens. Maybe neither. I really hope we get some wild things. I don't have a preference on who wins. I really don't. I don't have a favorite team in here. You catch me rooting for the team I think is more deserving within the game. If one team outplays another team within the game, sometimes the team that outplays the other team doesn't always win. Sometimes some weird things happen. I kind of catch myself I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, but rooting for more of the team that's more deserving. So that's the kind of how my thinking in games. But I'm wide open here. I want to see some wild games. And I'll be happy with that. If it's a complete upset, if it's the Bears versus the Colts, 7-7, that'll be fantastic. Don't think it's going to happen, but that'll be lovely, in my opinion. But yeah, Chiefs, Packers, two high-powered offenses, two defenses that I think are both underrated. People don't realize these defenses are getting better, and they'll get better in big moments, we think, with their experience. Yeah, I talked about the way the Chiefs spread the field out. I think, if there was a knock on the Packers, it'd probably be they do. I know other guys can make plays. Valdes-Scantling gets downfield. Lazard's pretty solid. He's still kind of working his way back from that injury, perhaps. But, I think if you can figure out how to slow down Devontae Adams, easier said than done, you're going to make other guys beat you. And they could beat you with the ground game, too. So maybe that's their edge over the Chiefs, because Aaron Jones is fantastic. But I think we'll see more of that. That's where I'm a little hesitant about the Packers. If a team can slow down Devontae Adams, that could be the difference. If they can kind of make the other guys beat them. That's why I don't think they want to see the Rams, which I don't think they're going to see them. But if the Rams win, then they beat the Seahawks and they might see them. But not necessarily saying the Rams would win. But Jalen Ramsey, Adams would be a hell of a matchup that I'd love to see. But yeah, and the difference is the Chiefs can really spread the field. You got to focus on so many different things, and can you keep up with Tyreek Hill's speed? And one thing I really like about the Chiefs' defense is they, it's not the best defense football. Spagnuolo's a really good defensive coordinator, but they're really good. They're really versatile. They're really good at adjusting on the fly, kind of. You see some teams that they'll run this coverage mainly, or these two coverages. They're whatever, cover 3 team. Sometimes they run cover 1 man coverage. And if a team strength is playing that, well, then they're screwed. The Chiefs are not really like that. That's kind of their biggest strength of their defense. They will change their whole defensive plan just based on who they're playing, and they're pretty flexible that they can do that. So that could be a factor here. Another thing is the Packers defense is getting a lot better. They do play a lot of soft coverage, though. They play off the ball way too much. Alexander's the only guy I trust. And Kevin King, honestly, I think Kevin King, he's okay. He's solid. But Alexander's the only one I trust, getting up in somebody's face, pressing them. So what I think would happen in this game, the Chiefs come out just playing their game, their quick small ball, just going so fast, wearing them out because they know the Packers play off. They're going to force the Packers to come up. And the Packers aren't going to start up because they're worried about Mahomes in the deep. And then when the Packers come up on defense, the Chiefs are going to beat them deep. The way they spread the field, I keep going back to that, is just it's why they're the best. It's why they're defending champs. I'm going to take the Chiefs. I'm going to stick with my original pick. Packers are heating up, though. Will they miss Bakhtiari? That's a big one as well. But if it is a Packers-Bucs game in the next round, that one could decide who's going to the Super Bowl. That's going to be huge, huge. It's going to be the game of the year up to that point. So we'll see. The Packers do have a lot of home field advantage, though. Maybe some more snow games. See them dominate the Titans. And the Titans were probably a team that you think would have more success than anybody in the snow. Maybe Tom Brady probably can do it, but in terms of the team. So we'll see. I'm sticking with the Chiefs. It very well could be the Bills. If we want to go back to the bracket, the Bills are hotter than anybody right now. I had the Ravens losing in the first round, but the Ravens, Lamar Jackson he's something else. It's just a guy that you kind of know what's coming, but you just can't stop it. He's probably the last guy coaches want to play against every week. I think he's underrated as a passer. His receivers hurt him quite a bit. Mark Andrews is very good. They're getting better. They're getting better and better. That running back group's getting better and better. Their defense, they can create some matchup problems. They'll run some cover 0. Normally teams aren't successful running cover 0. They're pretty good at it, and that could be a factor, which is more blitz and man coverage because they have the corners to be able to do it. They have the blitzers to be able to do it. So the Ravens, even though I have them losing in the first round, they can make a run. They can definitely, out of the teams I had losing early, the Ravens are by far the best one, I think. I love the Rams defense. I don't know if they have enough on offense. Their offense, people sleep on their offense a little bit, though, if it's healthy. There's some weeks they turn the ball over and they disappear, but when they are on, they are on. They wear you out. A lot of motion, high tempo. They got to figure something out in the red zone, though. So that could be a sneaky team. The balanced teams could be, just having more balance. The Saints and the Bucks, they're both very balanced. The Colts have some good balance. Seahawks have some. I look at the Bills they're playing better on defense. I look at the Saints and the Bucks. Those are the balanced teams of the NFC. I think that could make some noise. So we'll see. I'm rooting for some surprises, some wild play. No funny business though with the refs. Usually not a whole bunch of penalties in the playoffs. I just don't want any wild ones that decide the game. So, again, go over to that Twitter. We can pull it up once again to that Twitter, and you guys are voting for the same video, but your own video, and we're going to reveal who you guys got here, show the rest of the YouTube community, because not all of them are following the Twitter for some reason. We need to get those followers up. That's a pretty good number. It's getting higher, so I appreciate it. But let's get that to match, so we can communicate better. If something's going on with the channel, NFL updates, we got you here on the Twitter. There's more content on the Twitter, to be honest. It's just in text form for the most part. And I'll post some clips from time to time on there. But, that is going to do it. Smash that like button, subscribe, turn notifications on if you want more, so you don't miss a thing here. But that is going to do it for this one. Stay tuned for more playoff coverage, more offseason coverage. Yeah, thanks for watching. Goodbye.